Hi, I'm Baylee Rubio.
Hi, I'm Jaycelyn Clay.
Hi, I'm Trevino.
Hello, I'm Sinai Hernandez.
Hi, I'm Whitney Prange, and I am a neonatal intensive care nurse at Seton Medical Center, Austin.
Today we're going to be interviewing Whitney with a couple questions for our bio project, and we're going to start off with first question from George.
What made you choose nursing as a career?
So, growing up, I always liked taking care of people, and when it came time to kind of like consider what I was going to do in college, I didn't really have a good idea. I had babysat like my whole life, and I really liked little kids, and I had seen where you could volunteer to go and hold babies that are in the NICU, and I told my mom that I want to do that. It sounds so cool, and she kind of pushed me to take it a step further and pursue nursing, because that was something that was like a timeless career, and that I could kind of put all that into one and always have a good like job. That's what I'm looking for, stability. So I kind of just went for it, and I really liked it. It turned out to be a perfect fit.
So my roommate, she volunteers at the NICU as well. So you think that was a big like turning point for you that made you choose nursing? Like that was that like the major?
Well, I never got to really volunteer. I wanted to, and then I was a senior, and I think I don't know if I could have gotten into doing that yet, because I don't think that I didn't know how like the age requirement. But I feel like seeing, like, I saw it on TV, so I like saw people being able to interact with babies, and I think that once I realized that I could do even more, like actually like taking care of them and making like a really big difference in their life and their families' lives, then I decided that was going to be like what I wanted to do. So that I knew going into nursing school that I wanted to be in the NICU if I could, even though it's kind of difficult to get in there like right out of nursing school. It's competitive. So
That's good. That's a good reason why.
yeah.
Like that. Okay. My question: where did you go to undergraduate school, and why did you choose that school?
So I started undergrad at TCU in Fort Worth. I got a scholarship, a small scholarship, and they have a really excellent nursing program. So I'm from that area. My parents were pretty stoked that I was going to be close to home. So I tried it, and I really just felt like it wasn't where I wanted to be after like a year or so, and I didn't want to look back on my college and be like, I had good memories, but I just felt like I was supposed to be somewhere else, and I really wanted to come to Austin. So I ended up moving down here, and it took a couple years, but I actually got into Austin Community College's nursing program, and I wish I would have known about it sooner, because it was awesome. So that's where I got my associates in nursing, because now they have a bachelor's program, but I got my associates, and then I got a job right when I finished that, and then I finished my bachelor's online through UTA in Arlington. So kind of all over the place, but ACC was awesome. I totally would recommend it to people who like are kind of not so into like the big university scene.
Okay. My next question is kind of tying into what you just said. How much do you feel like your undergrad school prepared you for?
I actually think it prepared me a lot, because my program was only 2 years, so 4 semesters, and we had a ton of hands-on clinical experience in the hospitals. So I know that like I've talked to people that had been to UT or like other universities around here, and I think that we definitely got more of that, which a huge part of nursing is being comfortable at the bedside, and I think that really helped me get confidence in that way, and just having that experience rather than having to take like all these other random classes that didn't really go into like the physical skills of nursing. And the biggest thing that came out of it was that one of my professors, she actually was a neonatal nurse practitioner, which is like kind of a step below a doctor at Dell Children's and Seton where I work. And she knew I was super passionate about it, and she wrote me a letter, and she like hooked me up with the manager at the time, and that had a huge part of me like getting my foot in the door, because especially as like not having your bachelor's, sometimes people kind of breeze over that, but that got me. Obviously I had to interview, but that kind of got me like in there. So I'm so grateful that everything worked out as it did. It was hard at first, but it was worth it for sure.
I'm gonna add on that question. So being at ACC, do you feel like the smaller kind of community definitely like benefited you?
Totally. So once we started like our semester, we were with the same group of like 40 or probably 40 people like the entire 2 years. So we became like a huge family, and ACC has a totally different there's all ages, types of people, like second careers, first careers, and so I kind of had like a second family. Like it was it was really cool to have that tight-knit group of people, because nursing school is hard and you have to really lean on the people that you're going through it with, because it's not like a, you know, like just regular school. It's like you're putting in a lot of hours for it. So yeah, I think it did. I really, for me, that was something that was really helpful, was the smaller space, because I also can be like a little ADD and like smaller classes, helpful, keep you focused, so totally.
Mm. Well, we understand that, you know, any nursing program, you know, you have to be really adequate when it comes to GPA, but, you know, were you in any sort of extracurriculars involved during your undergrad schooling?
Not really through school. I mean, I tried to maintain somewhat of like a normal social life. I was really, really into yoga when I was in school, which I know that's kind of like a cliche thing in Austin, like, oh, yogis, whatever, but it was like really helpful to, you know, have something where I could be totally like, you know, focused on myself and not like caring for other people, but also just like exercise and like for mental stuff too. So yoga I was really passionate about it. I've kind of like somewhat fallen out of it, but not terribly, but that was a huge part of nursing school. And I actually was thinking like while I was in nursing school, like, oh, maybe I want to be like a yoga teacher too, but no,
Cool.
it didn't happen. But it was good. It was a good like mind relaxer exerciser. So that was probably my biggest extracurricular thing, because I didn't have a lot of time to do other stuff. If I wasn't doing school, I was trying to be with my friends or sleeping, because I wasn't sleeping a lot. So yeah.
So did seeking that nursing degree have a huge impact on social life? Like, I know you described it, but it's very limited.
I think so. I'm kind of like hard on myself as far as grades. It had taken me longer to like get into school as far as like figuring out what I wanted to do after moving schools and everything. So I really wanted to have a good GPA and like make my parents like proud and like feel like it's worth it, like waiting this long. So I feel like I definitely sacrificed some social stuff. Spent a lot of time studying by myself on the couch and the cat, not going out with my friends. But you know, it's kind of a time where I realized like who your true friends are, because I maintain relationships with people, but I definitely didn't do a ton of extra stuff. But it was worth it.
Okay, so my next question is, when things got hard, what motivated you to keep going and doing well in school?
Definitely the like light at the end of the tunnel was knowing that when I was done, I was gonna have like a salary and like, you know, the money, because I never had worked like, you know, I worked like in the restaurant business and retail, and so that was like definitely like eye on the prize of like, it's gonna be worth it. You got, and just to be able to have that stability of a job. And so I don't know if like having like a perfect GPA would have really like mattered in the long run looking back, but I feel like that was kind of a motivator for myself to the money.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
As you know, like I said, to maintain a high GPA, you know, those are important things to have those extracurriculars, but what other advice would you give, you know, to current undergrads who, you know, want to maybe follow your path?
I definitely think, well, kind of what I was talking about earlier was like find your like clique of people in whatever environment of school that you're in, and like lean on them hard, because you have to have a support system, and your family and your friends can be supportive in their own way, but also like going through the process with other people and like creating that bond is something that I really feel like was beneficial. And also just like, you know, seeking out new opportunities as you're like going through school, and not being afraid to like put yourself out there, because the more experiences you get, the more people that you're gonna meet that are gonna be like, oh, I know this person and this person who could help me get this job. And so it's kind of just like a big network, and trying to network and figure out like what kind of, where you can fit in the whole nursing world, for sure.
Still on the subject of like the pathway to where you're at right now, what type of like specific skills or experiences are needed for someone to advance into nursing school?
I think that you have to be able to be like confident enough in yourself as a student to like try new things. I know, like, I'm thinking back, like when I was in clinicals, you know, there was only be like certain opportunities that would come up, and the teacher would be like, oh, like, who wants to try to put in this catheter or start this IV? And you just have to be the one that's like, I'll do it. Like, you try to like get as much experience as you can while you have support, because that's just gonna build on itself as you go through school. And I think that was kind of something that I tried to do. I can't say I did it every time, but I think it just helps, like, it's easier to, like, as interacting with people, because the more that you try to, like, interact with your patients and have, like, you know, those hands-on experiences and not just, like, do the bare minimum, like, in-out assessment, okay, like, I want to get out of here, I'm so nervous, like, pushing yourself to do that, I think, will help you be more confident in a ton of situations that come after, whether it be, like, interviews or, like, when you are starting as a new nurse, you're gonna already have that base of your confidence, so I think that was really important.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think definitely taking the first step and taking initiative is definitely like a big thing that's gonna put you like in a good setting for anything you do.
Yeah, that's how people notice you. So I think that's just because nursing is so competitive, especially in Austin. You know, everybody wants to be in Austin. So it's like if you aren't going to stand out, then you're not going to get picked. So you have to like make yourself available in that way. So yeah.
Going on to career and present questions, what ways do you do now? My first question is going to be, what do you find most rewarding as a nurse?
I love my job so much. I feel like there's a lot of aspects that go into it that's super rewarding. I think something that I consider to be the best, I guess, would be like, so, you know, our hospital is like kind of the epicenter of Austin to take care of micro preemies. So I've taken care of babies that are like less than a pound, 1 pound, and like to watch them grow like outside of the womb, like into these like, they are like alien like in a way. I mean, it's not a bad thing, it just people don't realize like how much growth happens, like, and being able to see it outside is so awesome. And it's reward, like, and you know, you work really hard on your patient and with their families who are also super freaked out, and it's like, you know, building that relationship, and from day one to discharge, like those last few days were like, you know, the parents are super independent, like the baby's doing awesome, and then you get to discharge them. Like, that's like the best part. Discharge day is the best because, you know, you see like all your hard work put into this like life that you literally watched grow. So I feel like that's probably my favorite part. I love the little tinies. It's
I
fun.
love that.
Wow, that sounds like really amazing.
Yeah.
It's pretty humbling too, for sure.
So my next question is, what are the biggest challenges that you face daily, and how do you overcome them?
I think the biggest challenge as a nurse is, you know, making our voice heard, because people automatically like look to the doctor like, oh, what does the doctor think, or like something like that. But in reality, like, we're the ones that are at the bedside, you know, and especially in our case, we're kind of like an open bay scenario. So like, I'm always next to the babies that I'm taking care of. So it's like, I know them the best. I mean, besides their parents who are also really involved in the care, but just as a nurse, kind of something that we have to do is advocate for our patient. And I think that can be sometimes kind of hard whenever you know, your concern doesn't get taken seriously, or like it's brushed off, or you kind of have to like fight and be confident to stand up to the people that are superior to you and just be like, no, I know that this is the right thing, or like this is what I think, or, you know, this little change. Because especially in infants, like, they don't present the same way as adults do as far as like when they're getting sick or something like that. So we have to really be in tune to what they're doing, and you have to kind of just make your voice heard. And I think sometimes that can be hard because they don't know. They're like, like blow you off. But then I've gotten more confident and better at being like, no, like, I'm serious, you need to listen to me, like, whatever, and present your case. So that's kind of how we get about it. And I work with a lot of awesome doctors and nurse practitioners, but it just sometimes the chaos of the day happens, and you just have to be able to be their voice because they can't talk, they're babies. So you gotta make sure that they can let you know what's going on. So.
Well, we've heard of like some of the overarching themes when it comes to being a nurse, but can you briefly describe to us, you know, some of the more specific areas of focus in your profession? So
when I go into work, we're like responsible, obviously, for like doing an assessment, and in the NICU, you kind of get to know the patients because they are there for so long. So, you know, we do an assessment, see if anything's like changed from the past shift, what you got in report, whatever, vital signs, being in tune to those. Some of our babies will have like IV lines that are like in their arm, in their belly button, ones that go all the way to their heart. So we kind of have to manage all that, making sure that you know, if they're getting like IV nutrition or different medicines that are going through, like, we have to make sure that everything's compatible and matches the order, which can be difficult because Seton is awesome in that it's a teaching hospital. So we have residents that are like, they work under the doctor, and the doctors like double check their work, but sometimes you have to like make sure that they're writing the right thing for the order. So we gotta like, you know, manage all that. we have to teach, like, as the babies get older, they like learn how to eat. So that's something that we have to kind of, I mean, eating is an innate thing, but also like recognizing like their cues. Do they want to eat? Are they stressed out? All nonverbal stuff. And I think something really big that I do in my job a lot that has kind of become more of a second nature, which makes me laugh because I don't have kids of my own, but I'm teaching these people like how to take care of their baby, which is so funny to me because I'm like, I don't have my own kids, but this is what you should do for this baby, and I teach them like the baby care basics. So depending on the acuity of my assignment, like sometimes I'll have 3 babies that are like stable, maybe on a little oxygen. I have to like do their vital signs like every 3 hours, change their diaper, feed them, like make sure everything, like, because they're on continuous monitoring, so monitor those vital signs. Or I can have a day where I have like only 1 patient because they're so sick, and I have to make sure that I'm managing my time wisely, which is a huge thing in nursing. So there's a lot of different like aspects as far as like critical thinking, time management, just paying attention to detail that goes into it. And especially for the NICU, I think people, not all people, but people do have like a perceptive, like, oh, she just gets to like play with babies all day and hold them and like babies puke, clams puke, whatever. But no, it's like I really have to be on your toes, and it's not just all fun. It can be really, really hard and stressful. So it's kind of, and I think a big thing too is like making sure that sometime throughout the day, like you take care of yourself. I definitely feel blessed at the unit that I'm on that I have like really supportive coworkers that we all make sure she gets break and lunch and stuff. But there are days when you're like, holy crap, I haven't peed in 8 hours and I need to take a drink of water. So it's just kind of like managing somebody else's care but also your own. So yeah.
So if not a nurse, what career would you be doing?
Oh gosh. I don't know. Through nursing school, I worked in retail, like at Free People, and I like to do creative stuff. So I don't know. Maybe I don't want to say something in fashion because I don't think I would ever do that, but maybe something more like creative, because I did like to do, in high school I took photography and I was really into ceramics, and I did some of that like at ACC when I was getting my prereqs. But I think if anything, I would maybe be doing something like more on the creative side and not so medical. But I don't know, I think my parents really encouraged me to go this route just because of job stability. But
Well, I think that's about it. I think our final thing to ask you is, what would be your favorite achievement that you've accomplished over the course of your work?
Okay, I guess, so we get recognized in our hospital with like these nominations that parents can give us, or like it's hospital-wide, it's just not just in the NICU, but it's called a DAISY Award, and the parents, like when they leave, they'll like fill out this little pamphlet and they like write like how you impacted their stay or whatever, and it gets submitted and you can get like an award. I've never won the award, but I've been nominated, and that's why we have them like on our badge, like how many things that we've gotten. So that's really special because I've only been doing it for 4 years, so I feel like to know that I made like that big of an impact on a family, that they like took the time out of their day to nominate me for something like that, even if I didn't win the exact award, it's still a huge honor. So I think that's probably the biggest thing. Yeah.
Well, thank you for letting us interview you.
Really
And
appreciate
Yeah,
thank you
of
for what
course.
you do, because that's really, your job's really important for a lot
Thank
of
you
people.
so much.
And I know
Thank
it
you
like
so much.
impacts lives all like everywhere, and I know that people, especially like taking care of, handling like a life in your hands, definitely something
It's pretty
that you should be
crazy.
proud of.
Thank you so